Hello, this is Rick Wegley and this is Ask NCM. I'm one of the full-time instructors at NCM and we do our best to address questions that come to us from our clients from around the country. I've been with NCM for a little bit over 3.5 years now, and over the last 60 days I've probably had 5 different requests from collision center operators, dealerships. Some of them are large groups that have centralized body shop facilities, and they're struggling with profitability and they're struggling with growing their business. The collision center industry is very difficult to make money in that industry, quite frankly. You have to be very sharp at what you do. So in some of the conversations I was having with these dealers on that, I had a few, well, first of all, think about this. I had a few questions about profitability. You have to understand that the margins on collision repair are pretty much dictated by the insurance companies because we're typically working from their estimates. Now, if you're an all-star collision center, you may have a couple of direct repairs. It's a little bit easier to work with, but in many cases, we're working off of the insurance company's estimate that was provided to us. So we have to stick within their guidelines, not as much flexibility involved. So if we can't do much to control the margins per se on labor and parts, it's all about acquisition, and the cost of labor is not going down, it is only going up. It's becoming more and more difficult to make money and keep money in a body shop. So what are things that we can do that can help us keep money in a body shop? Things that affect profitability, and what can we do to help grow our business? All right, well, first thing that comes to mind for me is your paint materials fees. Okay, paint materials charges and paint materials usage. With the paint, it's pretty much going to be contracted through a supplier who's going to monitor and measure your inventory. Make sure you're participating in those inventories so that we're not paying for product we're not actually getting. Comebacks in a paint booth can cost the company a huge amount of money. Thankfully, the groups I'm working with feel confident they have the right staff and painting cars, so they're not having to reshoot on a very frequent basis. And then looking at other supplies such as the tape and the grit and the other supplies that we use to prep cars and to finish and final cars. Are we getting what we should be getting out of that material? Is there any waste involved in the material? How are we sourcing that material? Are we actually inventorying that material? Okay, a few strategies I used in my own career on the paint materials when I would get into a store, specifically one that had some problems with that, was I would put the cap down, if you will, on the paint materials usage, particularly the other materials outside of the paint, is grit and duct tape and masking tape. I remember one store I went to, I told them, I said, you will bring me the empty cardboard roll from that 2.5-inch roll of masking tape before I will give you another one. They thought I was being a little harsh, but as I walked through the shop, I'd find 8, 10, maybe 12 different rolls of this 2.5-inch tape. Some of them had been run over by a car and flattened out, so it was just purely waste. Now, I didn't have to do that long term. It just got their attention. It made them more aware of the paint materials usage. Okay, another opportunity you could look at is your sublet. Now, I realize that the insurance companies don't let you mark up sublet. It's typically net. You're going to bill them by invoice for what you paid for that particular service on that. But what are other things that could go into sublet? And a question, here's one you can think about. Where are you posting your storage fees? When you collect storage for a vehicle that was towed into your dealership, it becomes a total loss. It's sat out there for 4 or 5 days before they came to pick the car up on that. Most stores do assess some type of a storage fee on that car. My question is, where are we posting the income from those storage fees at? Is it going into labor? Is it going towards sublet? Are you putting it in as a miscellaneous or other sale? Okay, so there's a lot of different opportunities to earn and retain money in a body shop. Key things I think of, again, are paint materials, our sublet costs, unapplied labor. Make sure we're watching our unapplied labor in dealerships as well. So if you have a question, regarding collision center management, particularly maintaining costs and growing the business, I'll give you an example of growing the business on that is how many estimates do you write on a monthly basis, and how many of those estimates that we wrote are we following up with? Okay, when you get a lead for a vehicle sale, you may even have a BDC who's tasked with just following up on the leads that we're getting either from phone calls or internets, or tasking your salespeople with that. But are we holding our riders, our estimators in our body shop accountable for following up on estimates that we've previously written? Okay, so those are things you can do that can help grow your business and help increase the flow of traffic coming into your body shop. So if you have a question you'd like to see us address on a future episode of Ask NCM, please reach out to us at askncm@ncmassociates.com. Again, my name is Rick Wegley, and thanks for joining me.